Hello and welcome back to MB2 Underground. No need to get flushed. We promise this episode is 2-ply better than you'd expect. Only bringing the most charmin guests to your favorite streaming platform.
God, we're already going there.
We're not here to talk crap, but if we were, we'd be prepared. My name is Sarah Kiefer.
And I'm JT. Sarah, that was a great intro.
I tried to squeeze out as many.
Oh my gosh. I just love the fact
That was too far.
I just love the fact that Dr. Wright was like, okay, we've gone through the ground rules, but we're already there and I'm blowing through them. So let me just introduce our guest.
No pun intended,
No
right?
pun intended.
That's literally the only reason I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Today's guest is one of my favorite partners who I've known for a long time because he started about the same time or joined MB2 about the same time I did back in 2019. So welcome, Dr. Gregory Bob Wright.
Dr. Greg Bob, thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Do you want to explain to the listeners why I use so many toilet paper puns? My intro.
So, listeners, just be aware when you fill out a little questionnaire, this is what it can lead to, okay? So,
Wait, did you think that it wouldn't lead to
no,
this?
I know.
You said
Okay.
nothing was off
if
the
you
table.
can't laugh at yourself, you know,
No, it's not on the table. It's on the commode.
here I am.
So take a seat.
It didn't go that far. So, we were on a river cruise, okay?
Which river?
Danube.
Ah, that's
Danube.
the only one I know. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we're on a river cruise, right?
Okay.
And I'm just a kid from West Texas, okay? I grew up kind of rural, had 60 people in my high school class
Where in West Texas?
near Big Spring.
Oh yeah, I dated a guy from Big Lake for a very long time.
Big Lake?
Big Lake.
Is Big Lake near Big Spring?
Yeah.
And you're certain? Because Dr. Wright's face is not saying.
Yeah. Right.
I will look it up later.
Okay. It has one stoplight. That was it.
Yeah.
It's
kinda
smaller than
like,
Big Spring.
It's kind of like Kahoma, where I went to high school. So
Yes.
anyway, you know, growing up, if you live in Texas, you have allergies, right?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
you know, most of the time, if I needed to blow my nose, you know, I would just grab some toilet paper and blow my nose, right? No big deal. So we're on a river cruise, and it's on a really, you know, nice cruise line, Amma Waterways. We get there, we go into our room. I need to blow my nose. So I grab some toilet paper to blow my nose. It is the best smelling toilet paper you have
Can I
ever
just say
smelled in
that
your
your notes
life.
did not have context about blowing your nose in the toilet paper? All
Well,
it said
you
was
took
I
it to
smelled it.
another direction.
No, I'm with Sarah on this.
It just said it smelled the toilet paper. It didn't say I was blowing my.
So
that makes so
when,
much more
when
sense.
you read that the first time,
I thought he was huffing paper. I thought
yeah,
he was like,
I'm like, man, I don't know anybody that just goes is like, that looks like some really interesting toilet paper. I should smell that.
yeah.
Okay, well,
But
there
now
was
this
a,
makes
very
sense.
helpful.
there was a purpose, okay?
Yeah.
There was a purpose.
Thank God.
So we're on this trip with about 16 other people from our Sunday school class.
Okay.
And yeah, you know, I go out to the group and everybody's talking and sitting around, and I go,
You're so excited to bring them this knowledge.
guys, have you smelled the toilet paper? I
And-
was.
And they all thought the same thing we thought.
And they're like,
Which was no.
why are you smelling the toilet paper? So anyway, that's kind of where that came from, but it kind of snowballed.
Yes.
You know, it really snowballed. But, you know, we became known, Cindy and I became known on the trip as, you know, I was Dr. Sniff
Obviously.
and she was Scratch.
Oh my God.
So we were Scratch and
Iconic.
Sniff.
Scratch and sniff.
I personally
So-
feel so much better about that story now that I know you're
Well, I'm
blowing your nose.
glad.
Thank you.
Hey, while we're talking about toilet paper, do you know what kind it was? Out of
Yeah,
curiosity?
Lenovo. The world's most luxurious toilet paper.
I've never
He
heard
said
of
I went
that.
home and I Googled it, and now I have it on Amazon.
You can
Subscribe.
get it. You can get it in multiple colors, multiple fragrances.
Which one's your favorite fragrance?
Interesting.
I don't have any idea.
Oh, I was worried about that one.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a European thing.
So what kind of toilet paper?
I think we can move on
No,
past
no.
it. Okay.
We're here. I mean, we're here. Nothing's off limits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of toilet paper do you guys use at the house?
Costco.
Costco.
None of our business.
Yeah. No,
You can be like Charmin, like we're Charmin Ultra people.
Kirkland.
Why do y'all? Okay. Interesting. That's a very interesting fact. I'm so glad we
maybe
talked about it.
maybe it changes when, like, you get married and you have kids. maybe that changes. Maybe like the perspective just because I'm like, oh yeah, what kind of paper towels we use? So maybe it's coming for you.
So last year at
I don't know. We got
Christmas,
bidets
we did
sick.
we did order a big case of this toilet paper in blue.
for Christmas.
We put 2 rolls in each bag and took it around to all of our friends.
Oh, that's
I wrote
amazing.
each one an individual personal poem
From the cruise.
from the cruise. Wrote them a poem. We took it around, left it on their front doors, as a little gift.
I love it. Even your note said that one of the things that you take pride in is that you don't take yourself too seriously. Do you feel like you've always kind of had that mentality? Do you feel like you learned it somewhere? That's one of my favorite attributes about people.
I mean, and I said it earlier, but if you can't laugh at yourself, life's too short, to be that serious and it's just a lot more fun if you have fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
So-
I was telling Sarah, I don't think it was the first time that we met, but the very first and one of the best impressions I have of you was when we went on that owner's retreat. So this would have been January of 2020 out to Rough Creek. And like for me, that was my first exposure to partners in mass because I hadn't been here that long.
Why were they wearing masks?
In mass, like
Oh,
broader group.
got it.
We
Nope,
were
makes a lot more
wearing
sense.
masks in April of that
Continue.
year.
Yep.
That's a different story for a different day. And we stayed in the same cabin or whatever it was. And you chose I chose to go shoot skeet in the morning, me and Puckett and a couple of the other guys that were there. And we walked in afterwards and you were sitting in the living room. You had a beer on the arm of the chair.
Deep Ellum blonde.
Deep Ellum, whatever it is, Bombshell Blonde or whatever, Blonde Ale, and you had your book, and the fire was on, or you had a fire, and I saw you, and I was like, hey, you're like, today's a great day, isn't it? And I just remember thinking, this is like the perfect, like, Dr. Wright is super chill, he is enjoying himself, and I'm like, where did you go? You're like, I went to the spa. And I'm like, that was a really good choice,
move.
really good choice.
Good move.
So
That was a fun trip.
that was a fun trip. It was
And
a
I
lot.
had FOMO just hearing about it. So you joined MB2 in 2019. That's how you and I got introduced.
Right?
I'm going to go back farther than that.
37 years farther.
Further than that, because farther is a distance, a measure of distance. Further than that. Did I say it right? I said it right. What got you into dentistry to begin with?
So, Vernon, Texas, another little, blip on the West Texas.
I've actually heard of Vernon. I haven't
Yeah.
heard from, where did you say you grew up? Like, what's the actual town?
We moved around a lot. My dad was in education.
Okay.
So I went 5 through 8 in Vernon.
Okay.
And my best friend at that time, his dad was a dentist. His dental office was just right around the corner from our school.
Was it the only one?
No, I think there were 2 or 3.
Okay.
But we'd go there after school and be, royal pains, I'm sure. But, we'd go in and raid the refrigerator and get a Dr. Pepper and just be annoying, But I always just kind of thought it was cool. And his dad always had the ability to take off from work and coach our little league teams. And, I was involved in 4-H growing up, and his dad was always there.
What's 4-H?
It's an agricultural organization.
It's like growing
How about FFA? Are you familiar with FFA?
Future Farmers of America.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
4-H,
Similar.
4-H is
Okay.
FFA is school related, 4-H is community related.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, his dad just had flexibility, and my dad, always said, "You don't want to be in education, son. You don't want to do this." Da 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 da. My dad's name was Bobby, by the way,
God given.
God given,
Love that.
not Robert, but Bobby.
And your
he thought-
middle name, just for
Isn't-
clarification for the
Is
listeners
my
out
middle
there.
name is Bob.
He just thought Bobby isn't short enough. So we're going to go one better.
Yeah.
Greg Bob.
So anyway, so that's how I got, an interest in dentistry. And thank God I love it. And I'm decent at it because I had no fallback plan.
I feel like most dentists that we've talked to, it was dentistry or bust. Like that was just kind of once you have your sight set on it, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's like you're burning the boats, right?
You're burning
This
the
is-
boats. Sorry, that one was bad.
No, that's pretty funny. So you have been at this for 37 years.
Thank you.
We did
which is
math.
Yeah,
awesome. No. But you talk about you love it, and I mean clearly, like you love it. You've done it for a really long time. You've been involved in a lot of organizations, the AACD. I know you work in volunteer time in Fort Worth. Like, what is it about dentistry that you like? What is it that you love about dentistry? Is there something that you can like put your finger on, or you're just like, man, everything in general is
Dope.
just fits me?
So to me, it's really not about procedures. Procedures are easy. You know, it's about dealing with people.
Yeah.
And it's about taking people, you know, with patients I've known a long time, not a brand new patient. But, you know, they'll like come in and say, you know, I really don't like being here. And I'll say, you know, I don't like going to the proctologist either. You know, but there's things we just got to do, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and I like making that as easy on them as I can. I mean, you know, I worked this morning, just this morning, you know, I got a guy numb. He goes, God, you're so good at that. You know, and I'm like, thanks. You know, I said, it's like, I hate that part of my job.
Yeah.
You know, and I've hated it for 37 years. And I said, so we just try to do it the best I can, you know.
So how did you and Cindy end up in Dallas when you grew up in West Texas?
So we met in college in San Angelo, and she's basically a Dallas girl. So she went to hygiene school at Baylor. I went to dental school at OU. We kept the highway hot for a couple of years, driving back and forth. When she graduated, we got married. But, you know, the whole time we're in Oklahoma, we're thinking we're going to come back to Texas.
Okay.
So I got a general practice residency with the VA in Dallas.
Oh, nice.
And that gave us a year to kind of, you know, make a little money, have a little time to look around, figure out what we wanted to do. So that's how we ended up back in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Never did I think I would live in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm a small-town kid. It was just intimidating. I didn't want to go to school at Baylor because Oklahoma City seemed like a lot smaller and, you know, more my style. But, you know, here we are today and very thankful for it.
When you got here and you were scoping out DFW, did you start in Grapevine, Southlake area?
No.
Where was your original kind of landing point?
So we had decided to purchase a practice in Sherman.
Oh.
Okay.
And
About as far away from DFW
As close to Oklahoma as you can
and
get.
being in
Pretty much.
DFW as you can. Yeah.
pretty much. And literally, you know, Cindy and I had a stressful weekend. You know, Sunday night, we're going to call the guy on Monday and say, okay, we'll buy your practice. And he called us on Sunday night and said, well, I've been talking to some of my buddies, and I don't think I'm asking enough for my practice. And we've been talking to this guy for like 2 months. I leave the VA in 2 weeks. And, you know, okay, what do you want? What are you changing your mind to? What are you asking? And he doubled.
Oh,
Gosh.
So, you know,
hostage situation.
yeah, we said, you know, basically, thank you very much, but I think we'll pass.
Okay.
Do you think, knowing what you know maybe now, maybe this is a dumb question, do you think that he was asking too much at that point? Like now, like looking back, you're like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's way too
Yeah,
much.
it would have been a really good starter practice, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a starter.
So his buddies were just full of it, is basically.
I guess.
Pumped him up. Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
know.
cool.
Or
Sorry.
maybe he wanted an out and he just didn't know how to get
That's
out.
true.
Yeah, I don't know. So, you know, 2 weeks to go, nowhere to go. And a rep for Patterson Dental told Cindy, hey, there's this guy in Grapevine. Have Greg go talk to him. So, you know, that ended up working out, and that's where we went initially.
Okay.
But that's not where you're at now?
It's not where we're at now.
Okay.
So it's kind of a good thing, but we went into that relationship with no formal agreement. I never signed a contract.
The good old days.
Yeah, never did anything like that. So for 3 years, I worked in 3 counties. On Mondays, I was faculty coverage for the graduate pedo residents from Baylor College of Dentistry at Denton State School.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, so I'd go to Denton on Mondays.
Okay.
Okay. On Tuesdays, I was the dentist at the Dallas County Juvenile Detention Center.
Oh.
So on Tuesdays, I'd go to jail. Okay. On Wednesdays, that was my day off. Thursdays, I worked in the office because he quit practicing. He quit at 2 on Thursdays. And so I would go in and work 2 until 8.
Dang.
And
Wow.
then Fridays, I worked
Graveyard.
8 until 5. And then I'd work, some Saturday mornings after that.
Out of all 3 of those days,
Mm-hmm.
which job did you like the best?
They were all, they all helped form who I am today.
Okay. How?
Okay. So, working at Denton State School, there were days where I was the muscle. I would have to hold the kids steady while they're,
Oh.
yeah, it was kind of tough sometimes. The jail, it's a jail, you go in and the big doors clang.
Do you have any
behind
interesting stories from working there?
I took a slug out of a kid's leg one day,
A slug is a bullet.
a bullet out of a kid's leg one day.
That's not teeth.
It's not part of my license,
Yeah.
so,
Dr. Davis, this is so funny to say this. Dr. Davis was pulling gold
people
teeth out of
out.
dead bodies, and you're pulling.
How did you? How?
crazy.
Why? How? Why?
The nurse stuck her head around the corner and said, "Hey, you think you could take a slug out of a leg?"
How old was this kid?
How old were
dare
you?
asking?
I was under 30. And the kid was probably 15 or 16.
Man.
But, you could see where the entry was. And, if you kind of rubbed his leg, you could kind of feel it. It wasn't that deep, But, when I was with the VA,
Combat medic. Okay.
I spent 6 months at Parkland and other hospitals doing things kind of like taking out a bullet that I had no, right really doing.
No, Greg Wright.
No, Greg Wright. So anyway, but that's, but which one did I like the most? Private practice,
That's
of course.
That's fair. I would assume.
Okay, so as you worked in 3 counties, you've got a practice that you've established or you're working with in
Right.
Grapevine. You eventually get to Southlake.
So that story. Cindy worked in the office. I worked in the office. Nothing had ever come about. I had tried to, equip other rooms, become a partner. Nothing ever worked. So we started looking, and to cut to the chase, he found out we were looking. Our daughter was 3 months old, and we both got fired on a Friday night.
So it's like if you're in an unhappy relationship and you're just like swiping, seeing what's out there, and then your partner finds out and is like, "We're done."
It's like done.
Except you have a 3-month-old and no income.
Right.
Bummer.
So I had a good friend who was a dentist in Grapevine. I worked out of his office at night while our first office was being built. And our first office was a little 970 square foot, office in a little strip center.
So you went the route of de novo for your first ownership.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Except
cool.
since we had no agreement, with our first dentist in the state of Texas, the dentist of record owns the record. Well, I never worked at the same time he did. So
Okay.
my patients did not know him. So we had about 400 people follow us.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
So it's like a de novo merger.
yeah,
How many ops did you have in 970 square feet?
we had 3.
Impressive.
It was
Very
pretty,
impressive.
it was pretty, crammed together. But,
Have you worked with your wife from the beginning?
yeah.
How do you guys work together? I feel like with couples, it's either we couldn't or we work great together.
Yeah. We kind of have our separate things.
Yeah.
You
Makes
know,
sense.
if she were my chairside assistant, that might be totally different.
Yeah, that's fair.
We kind of have our different roles in the office. I mean, a huge part, of who we are and what we built, is because of Cindy.
Yeah.
She sees things differently. I mean, females see things differently than males.
Yeah, much better
You
for
know,
sure.
much better for sure. And working
They
in
also
a,
don't see the toilet paper that they buy.
it's a
Apparently,
big deal.
I
You got
mean,
to
That's
pay
none
attention.
of my business.
So, we have our roles, and man, that was bad.
Sorry, I don't want to flush this whole conversation.
You got
Continue.
it. So
man.
anyway, but and there are days when we've gone home and I don't like to talk about the office at home. I kind of like to leave it at the office, and she likes to take it home.
Yeah.
So I won't. We've had nights where we were at each other's throats, about something with the office, but
Day to day it works.
yeah, day to day it works.
That's awesome.
Yep,
How long did it take you to outgrow your 900 square feet?
2 years.
Oh, okay. When you came in with 400 patients. So
Yeah, we were averaging about 100 patients a month, new patients a month.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we would have people sitting on the floor in our waiting room.
Well, that's awesome, but it's still cool.
They
They really wanted to be there.
it was fun,
As you transitioned from, I'll say, being an associate in a practice to having your own practice, like what did you? Is there anything that you learned very quickly or identified very quickly that you either didn't know and you had to figure out like immediately, or there were areas of like ownership that you're like, oh wait, I can do this and I can knock it out of the park? Like what were maybe some of the challenges that you saw moving from associate to owner?
So those challenges really don't quit. They're still there today. There's still things that you're learning and, today. I think if you sat 100 dentists in a room and you ask the dentist, what's the biggest hiccup or the thing they hate the most in their practice, 99 of them would say dealing with staff.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah. So, that's not something we're taught. We're taught how to take care of people. We're taught how to do our profession. We're not taught how to run a business. We're not taught how to deal with staff.
Can I ask something?
No.
And we're friends, so you won't see this as like a personal attack, which I think some people could. But aren't staff people? Like you guys are taught to deal with people, but aren't staff people?
Staff are definitely people, but
It's a whole
staff
different
are employees
relationship.
too. It's a whole different relationship. It's a whole different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
You could say, why don't they see things the way we see things? Well, they're an employee. They're not an owner. They see things differently.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, and also I think about like your patients are kind of like a cousin you get to see at holidays. You enjoy seeing them. You have a small period of time. Your employees are your family that you're stuck in a home with day in and day out. There's going to be a lot more emotions running high and a lot more different personalities you're trying to manage, not just with yourself, but with each other.
right.
Trying to find the right fits.
And they're very much your family.
Yeah.
I mean, you see them maybe more than you see your family.
Yeah, usually.
So
What do you feel like as you're stepping into ownership and building your own business was the best mistake that you made, that you learned the most from, or that you're like, man, I screwed that up, but thank God I did?
good question.
Thank you.
I screw up all the time.
That's the spirit. What happened?
I feel like this is going to be good just with how you started.
No,
like, it's not.
my practice is in a pretty affluent, white collar kind of area. There was one day we were there, and a nanny was there with the kids, and the kids were, running and jumping all over the chairs and everything. And I thought at the end of the day, if they were my kids, and I was paying that nanny to manage my kids, and that nanny was on her cell phone, and the kids were running amok, I would want to know about it, right? So, I thought, I'm just going to call the dad, and just say, hey, I just want you to know.
Narc.
Yeah. So, I called the dad, and I, very kindly and gently kind of go through the story. And the first words out of his mouth were, well, you must be mistaken. And I said, oh, And he goes, yeah, those couldn't have been my kids. And I just said, okay, well, maybe I am mistaken. You have a great evening. And that was the end of that conversation.
You're like, wait, your name is John Smith and you're financially responsible for these three
right.
kids. And yeah, you know what? I think I do have it wrong.
And it was just a real learning experience for dealing with people,
Yeah.
For me. Because honestly, I mean, I kind of thought, I'm the doctor, I'm calling this guy. I mean, I should have some credibility, right?
You would think.
Yeah, you would think. And, it was just like, nah, you're wrong. Yeah, those weren't my kids.
You should have called him back and been like, hey, so little Jimmy has a cavity and I need to sedate him. Is it okay for me to sedate him or, put him under and to see if he's like, nope, that's not my kid.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things like that
I think that's a good example.
that I didn't
it really
handle
is.
probably as well as I should have, but I learned from it.
Yeah, and early on, I feel like
Yeah.
those are the best mistakes to make, are the ones that shift your perspective and your focus. So you've been in practice a number of years, as we've talked about.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you've been in practice ownership. How do you feel like your leadership style? You talked about how staffing may be staff may be a challenge.
Yeah.
But how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
So there's nothing I won't do in the office, including cleaning the toilets. So I had to go there.
I mean,
did.
you
I
should
just
have.
had to
That
go
was
there.
good.
So I try to be more of a servant leader than a demanding leader, because I feel like in doing that, respect is something you earn.
Yeah.
And my staff knows there's not anything, that I won't do in the office, that I'm not going to ask them to do something
Yep.
that I wouldn't do, or I haven't already done it a dozen times, So, and that's the same with pretty much, my whole life. So
What's your favorite thing to do in the office that might surprise people? Outside, obviously, of dentistry.
I'm pretty good at fixing things.
Okay.
Office handyman.
Office handyman. Yeah. The other two dentists in the practice will say, we're going to miss you. Not because, but because you can fix stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, you could still pay me off.
Yeah, I can still come up there.
Yeah.
But, growing up, in a rural environment, you kind of had to fix things. Or my dad would look at me and go, you think that plumber's smarter than you? Well, no. Well, then fix it. And it's really funny because later in life, my dad asked me one time, he goes, how do you and your brother know how to fix things? And I'm like, because you shamed us into fixing things.
So we had to figure it out, Dad.
Made me feel dumb until I did it.
We didn't have YouTube. Now
That's
these guys have YouTube.
So anyway, that's kind of fun.
That is cool.
One of the things that you touched on in your leadership style was servant leadership. And you said that does extend outside of your practice. How does it do that? How do you show up as a servant leader outside of the office?
People are people.
People be people.
If I can do something to benefit you, then, in doing that inadvertently, I earn some kind of respect or credibility from you. And especially if I do it in a very unassuming, kind way. And in turn, at some point, you're going to do something nice for me or for someone else.
Yeah.
And it can kind of just snowball and be passed on.
Yeah. And you're pretty involved in volunteer work too, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that.
So in 2017, there were a group of guys that were going to go up to Memphis. And there's a big Memphis Health is a big thing in Memphis, a big public service. They're in a 150,000 square foot building. They've got a 24-chair dental clinic in this building. I mean, it's amazing. So, but we wanted to kind of start, they wanted to kind of start something like that, through our church in Southlake. Mm-hmm. And so they said, hey, Greg, we're talking about doing this. We might do a dental clinic someday. So would you kind of want to be a part of it, like at the ground floor? So I'm thinking, yeah, medical clinic. How much is that going to take up my time?
I've taken slugs
taken
out
a
of
slug
kids'
out.
legs.
Right.
I can do
I
this.
can do
So I said, sure. So we do our needs analysis, and it's very apparent after the needs analysis that a dental clinic is what's needed. So I'm like, holy cow. I didn't really think I was signing up for this, but here we go. So through, our church is White's Chapel Methodist. We have a free dental clinic in South Fort Worth. It's off of Fitzhugh, kind of in the Berry 287 area.
Okay.
There's 15,000 families that live under the poverty level within this zip code. And, we opened a clinic. In doing it, I told them, hey, guys, if we do this, I've volunteered at other clinics before. The clinic's dirty. It's not well equipped. It's not organized. I go in there and I can't do what I want to do. And I go home feeling frustrated at the end of the day. Well, as a volunteer, if I go home feeling frustrated, I'm not going back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, our clinic eliminates all of that. It's very nice. The equipment's nice. It's, it's very functional. We have one dentist who works for us. She was just a day a week, and we bumped her up to 2 days a week.
Wow.
And the rest of us volunteers. And, but to date, we've done a little over $3 million worth of free dentistry
That's amazing.
in that area. We do take donations from the people. They might give you $20,
Yeah.
but that $20 may be as significant as $500 to us.
Yeah.
Relatively.
We have people that will say, I can't give money, but I can come in and help clean the clinic. We had a plumber one time that, did some plumbing work for us and said, no, I'm not charging you guys. You guys are helping my community. So, and those things are just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. There's times because I used to go down at night. I would work my normal day, and then I would, leave Southlake at 4 o'clock and go to South Fort Worth through the traffic and, get down there and work until about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And there would be days like, oh, I'm tired. It's been a rough day here at my own office. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
But I got to go. But then when you're coming home at night, I mean, I don't want to knock going to Jamaica or Mexico or, somewhere else to do charity work, because that's great. I'm not knocking that at all. But those people in Fort Worth, they're our people.
Yep.
That's our community. And, never have I come home at night and not thought, oh, that was a really good thing to do.
I love that. That is like what you just said about those are our people. Like at our church, that's always the challenge that comes up, which is like, hey, there are great opportunities to go and do mission work in Haiti or Mexico or you name it. But you've got an opportunity here to impact people here that are quite literally your people and our people and our friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
And so like, it can be, and this sounds menial, but it could be as small as like doing something here, like can have as big of an impact to somebody who doesn't have access to care, thousands of miles away. Like it's the same issue here.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is cool about it even is, my only experience with charity dental work was Jamaica. But that was our people for Dr. Dove and his wife.
Yeah.
Like the people that helped kick it off. I mean, his wife was from Jamaica, and it was going back to their roots and serving the community.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see the full circle of like how we have other doctors doing that in their own communities.
Yeah. And it's a totally different type of dentistry than what I do in Southlake. It's a lot more pain management and crisis management and, those kind of things. But, I may take out a few teeth and think, oh, this guy's going to be hurting. But he gets up and says, thank you, God bless you, and we call him the next day and he's so happy and thankful,
That's
it's just,
amazing.
it's
I mean,
just
how could
totally
you
different.
ever leave there unhappy or upset, like you said, you leave your practice, you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to go, and then you leave the clinic, and you're like, this is the best thing of my day.
It benefits me just as much as it does them.
Yeah.
So it's a perspective that we all need in our lives.
That's really, really cool. We haven't talked about how you found MB2 or vice versa, or how you were introduced to MB2.
So you build a beast, and the beast gets big enough that, you kind of take yourself out of the market a little bit. You have a practice of a size that, not very many people can buy.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as you mentioned, your practice is in a pretty affluent area, still fee for service.
Yeah.
And a lot of cosmetic dentistry.
Correct.
Yeah, so very much a beast.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go beast and
Don't go there.
some other things about.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I stopped.
So
I have control.
We have a financial advisor that, works now with MB2 quite a bit, Matt Palladini. Matt said, hey, Greg, there's this organization in Carrollton. I don't know a lot about them. And he said, quite frankly, it sounds a little too good to be true. But if you want to go talk to them, I can set up an appointment and we'll go visit with them. Well, it never hurts to talk. So let's go. So anyway.
Famous last words.
Yeah. So we come over here to MB2 and we go upstairs into the little conference room area and we walk in the door.
Because this is 2019, so we're just in Lacey, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty new.
Yeah.
And anyway, we walk in the door and there's this guy sitting at the table that, Cindy's cleaned his teeth since he was 10 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
I know his whole family. I know his brothers. I know his mom and dad.
And you weren't expecting him.
Had no idea. No idea at all that Jackson Hildebrand was the CFO.
We're like, oh, it's little Jackie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So, we walk in, we go, what are you doing here? And, the other people in the room laugh and he goes, well, I'm the CFO here, da-da-da-da-da. So, and I love to tell this story because everybody I talk to about MB2, I tell this story because I think it's an important story for you guys. But because I knew Jackson and I knew his family was solid. I mean, his mom and dad, they're great people, solid people. I know how Jackson was raised. Immediately, Cindy and I had credibility with MB2. We thought if Jackson's a part of this, then this is legit.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be a part of something that's not.
Yep.
So, it was a really good thing for us. And because of, my relationship with Jackson, I've gotten to know everybody else pretty well too. And, that's one thing I always tell everybody I talk to about MB2 is that this is an organization that's made up of really good people, really genuine people. They're not going to sell you a line, they are who they are. If they agree, they agree. If they disagree, they're going to tell you. But at the end of the day, you can take it to the bank, what they tell you, because that's the way it's going to be. And I even have a situation, an instance with Will Gill, that would prove that too, but we won't go there.
No, we should go there.
I mean, we've got time.
Yeah, what? Tell us. I'm so curious.
Oh, it was something that during our integration, and I'm not going to get into many details, but I said, no, this is the way our office has been. This is a part of what makes us successful.
I remember that.
And this is the way it's going to be. Well, fast forward 5 years, and our current director came into the office and said, people are wondering why this is this way, because it shouldn't be this way. This should come out of doctor compensation and not the practice compensation. And I said, no, it's always been that way. And this is the way it's going to continue to be. And I wrote, because I'm pretty good at writing. And so I wrote this little dissertation as to why, And
It's currently framed on his desk. No.
well, it may be framed in Addie's, but because, she tapped me a couple of months ago. Do you still have a copy of that? I want a copy of that.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
So anyway, but, and after I kind of said, no, this is the way it was. This is the way it, it was that way from day one. Then everybody's like, oh, okay.
We'll figure it out.
No, that's you're right. That's the way it was.
You are right.
Yeah. So, so anyway, but that's just an example of the level of integrity, that exists within MB2.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but I love telling the story about Jackson. Years later, a couple of years later, we're talking. I said, why didn't you ever tell us? He said, I didn't want to infringe upon our personal relationship telling you something business-wise.
Yeah.
He said, I hoped you'd find us. I wanted to tell you, but I just never wanted to cross that line.
Yeah.
It happened the way it had to happen.
Yeah.
Which is, it's crazy because I knew that you were Jackson's dentist. And that was one of the first things, I guess, when I got here and you were working through the process already, like that was something that somebody told me. And I always assumed, like even to this day, until you just told the story, I always assumed that he did introduce you to
That's what I
MB2,
would've
which
thought.
is crazy.
No.
That's wild.
No idea.
That is so, that's
we walked in the room
so
and it was
cool.
like, what are you doing here?
That is so funny.
Yeah, we had no idea.
So you've been a partner for several years. Am I correct in assuming that up until that point, you'd always owned your practice on your own?
Correct.
Okay. Then you decided to take a step back and offer some minority interest to another doctor. How has that whole process been?
Great.
That's the spirit. I'm asking because I did it. You're welcome. I did your integration.
You did my integration. I know.
Well, and I helped
And-
transition
and,
your partner in.
Now that I didn't remember. So
Yeah, no, that's not surprising. But I'm glad to hear that it's going well.
it's going well.
Was it a challenge taking on another partner? I mean, you took on MB2 as a partner, but having another
No.
clinical partner?
Well, I've always kind of had a partner
Yeah.
because I have an associate that's been with me for 25 years, 24 years. And even though she's not an owner, in practice, she's very much
She's
my partner.
dedicated.
Yeah, and she's amazing. And, she had the right of first refusal, and it just didn't fit her life, to do that. So, but, it's just kind of part of the natural transition. But Dr. Arcilla is amazing. She's fit in beautifully.
I love that.
And, it's been nothing but good. We haven't touched on the fact that, I'm retiring at the end of the year.
What are you going to do with all that time?
I know, right?
gonna-
More volunteer time.
I thought maybe golfing
Well,
too.
I could
Thought
do that
maybe
too.
Bullet
hanging out with your
medicing.
grandkids.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll do all of that.
We don't want you to flush your career down the toilet.
Well, we're not. We're gonna
you already
salvage
used that
part of
one.
it.
Let me just live my life.
So, but anyway, one of the great things about our retirement is we could not be happier with the hands that we're leaving our practice in. So, Dr. Heron's still going to be there. She's still going to be working. Dr. Arcilla's, stepping in and taking over that ownership role. And I know the practice is still going to be associated with MB2, so they will have resources and everything that I never had, when we started out.
And you get to go spend more time with the grand boys.
Do.
Love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there anything before we wrap up that we didn't talk about that you wanted to discuss?
Not that I can think of.
Good energy.
Well, it's, it's kind of been just a casual conversation that we've been having. And
It's what we promised you.
I know, and you delivered,
Just
except for
chit-chat.
too much toilet paper comments.
Is there
but
such thing?
It's too much toilet? No.
I feel like I'm going to have a son, so I got
That's
to get
why,
used to poop talk.
that's
Oh,
why,
yeah, poop. You got to say it.
that's why during COVID, everybody stockpiled on TP.
That and eggs,
So
Eggs and water.
anyway,
toilet paper.
no, I don't know. Are there any other questions you guys would have of me?
I don't. This has been a lot of fun.
So one of the things that's been really important to me, and I'm just
Yeah.
going to throw this plug
No,
out there.
please do.
I know you guys know, but for those out there in blog land or whatever we're doing here.
Sarah's
YouTube
dad.
and Jeff. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out,
Shout
Mr.
out
Keeper.
to Mr. Kiefer. I'm an accredited member with the AACD, the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. I'm an accredited fellow with the AACD. I'm an examiner for both accreditation processes. I'm a past president of the AACD. I actually get to work with a couple of other MB2 doctors who are trying to pursue their accreditation, which that's kind of cool.
That's super cool.
I love, helping other people through that journey and that pursuit because, that's really what those two titles mean. The accreditation and the fellowship are important because, that's the one thing in my career that I did that taught me what I can do for my patients, and the level at which it can be done. So if any of you guys out there, are a part of the AACD and want to pursue accreditation, Dr. Brenda Jennings is another MB2 doctor.
Shout out.
Shout out. She's also accredited. She's an examiner. But Brenda or I, either one, would love to help anybody through that process because it was so impactful with both of our careers.
So for any of our MB2 owner doctors, you can look them up in Cerebro. Anybody else?
Call Jackson.
Yeah, shoot us a note.
Jackson's got my number.
That's right.
DM us on Instagram or leave us a comment on YouTube.
Sure.
Or Spotify or Apple.
Or wherever you
Podcasts.
listen to these podcasts.
Yeah, but other than the AACD plug I had to throw in there,
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I know you had to make quite a trek out here, but we appreciate
such
the journey.
a long drive.
Don't I know it?
I mean, God, 15, 20 minutes at max, but
Traffic could be 23 minutes.
it could.
Could the highways be clogged with cars?
I don't know. You just got to plunge through the traffic.
You do.
All right, I think we're done.
All right, MB2 Undergrounders.
Let's wrap this
You're gonna wrap it up and wipe. I don't know. Never mind.
Who
That's
would
it.
have ever thought it would just get taken to that level?
Well, when Sarah's involved and she starts with the puns,
Yeah.
they just
That's the only reason
They
I
just
go
keep
here.
flowing.
I sit here, like I literally sit here during the episode and I'm trying to do three things. I'm trying to listen to what Sarah's saying, I'm trying to listen to what the guest says, and then I'm trying to come up with puns so that I can say them at the same time. And
This is why women are smarter than men.
you are really
the
good
master.
at it.
Thank you.
Really good at
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate
But,
it.
as evidenced by today's episode, which is over now. MB2 Undergrounder. We will see you guys next time. Dr. Wright, thanks for coming.
Thanks
My
for
pleasure.
coming.
It's been fun.
Bye, guys.
See ya.